But I think we want to get you on record talking about the term trench, like how that came to be. Can you differentiate trench versus rhythm? Like, just dive into that topic for us.
Yeah. Yeah, especially relevant because we just did the Trench Time project. Me and Samplifier just basically launched the Trench Time project, but basically like I think that I don't care as much anymore at this point because I think that people took it like way out of proportion because at the beginning it was just kind of like, me and Sammy were hanging out and we were like, hey, like that like Trench was actually such a sick name for the
Mhm.
genre. Like when Getter said when Getter did all that, like with his Trench Lords release, and he was talking about Trench and how it sounds so sick for the genre versus like Rhythm. That was true. And like I tweeted that at the time. I was just like, damn, Trench sounded so cool. Like it sounds better than Rhythm. And that just it got like a crazy response. Like a lot of people were like, yeah, like that's such a sick name. Like we like that. So then I wrote this like blog article and I was like, here's why we should call it trench. Like actually, like rhythm is actually already an existing term that
Mhm.
is used for something else. So maybe we can, like kind of come up with a term to like kind of take matters back into our own hands because like the way that it started also with rhythm was that it was just like kind of a random category on some platform back then that people were using, and that they were using to like categorize the genre, like so that people could find like, the sort of style that Sepultronic and the Monsters were making at the time. And then, somebody just called it rhythm. And like at first, like nobody wanted to go with that. Like none of us were like calling it rhythm. And then people started just like joking about it, and then it kind of became like this thing where like suddenly now like bigger artists were saying it sort
Mhm.
of ironically, like when Subtronics had his like now that's what I call
The what?
rhythm, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was like tongue in cheek, like he wasn't serious about that. Like he talks about that like here and there, but it's like that was kind of a joke, right? Like that wasn't supposed to be like this is rhythm, like this is a thing, but it was more like I don't know, here's like a little like I don't know, play on that. And then I
Yeah.
think like people took it super seriously and they started like calling just anything that was quarter notes rhythm, even though like the point of it was to kind of categorize it. And then it became this like kind of vaguely defined term and that was just used for anything. And so I think that's part of why like the initial idea of like calling it trench was attractive to people because it's like, and to me as well, because it's like, well, we can kind of like refocus a little bit and be like, this is what I would like to call trench. Like this is the sound that we're all passionate about. And it can be sort of differentiated a little bit from like heavier dubstep and from tear out and stuff like that. And not anything that's quarter notes is necessarily like rhythm or trench.